Somebody shot my dad. I get the killer mentality. I come from murder and tragedy. Single burn home and family. Do this shit for my whole family. I'ma go get me a Grammy. You know that I'm missing you, Granny. Backbone to my whole family.
Yeah, so we're gonna transition a little bit, and this segment of the show is new. We call it Untitled. We're gonna show you a clip, and then I want to get your feedback in like 2 minutes about what you think about it. All right.
Okay.
What you mean?
Oh yeah, I had this on my page.
What you doing on this trip? Everybody know you a snitch. We ain't serving you shit. I'ma fire you with this clip. Cause how you still in the mix and you know you got niggas tick. You know that got niggas hit, but the strap I'm running your shit. I ain't playing with nobody but my honor. No, never raise my hand to your honor. No, I'm getting bloody, it's a problem. I'm coming with this chopper and I'm killing everybody. Oh, come on, man. Damn.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
So what's your question pertaining to the clip?
Yeah. Why you post that?
Because it's a message in it, right? The message is it's a couple of things, right? It's a couple of messages in there. If you know that you did something wrong and you're gonna be putting your safety and the safety of others in jeopardy, man, don't come in them environments. Because like they say, when they do intervene, it's kids out here, right? And the guy that approached him and called him a snitch clearly made it clear. I'm telling everybody, right? So he didn't jump from just one victim to we don't know how many victims, right? So that's another thing, and just the message is deep because I know that with the urban environment, we can relate to that on so many levels. I think that it was a message that needed to be heard because that was just a short snippet of the clip. But if you know, as we know, as you go into the clip, the guy steps in and says, man, there's more to your life than this. You feel what I'm saying? Like, nah. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They get that time, they get them 20s and 30 years. You know what I mean? Dudes I seen that was beefing and got 30 years and now they 70s. They in the same cell together in the penitentiary. Or they standing back to back because they in California and it's only 10 DC dudes out there and it's a race ride going on and now they best friends. You feel what I'm saying? So if you can reach that in the joint, why can't you reach it in the street?
Next one. What you think?
I think it was showing, the reverse of a situation. Look, as a young man was shot. Initially, that's how it started, right? And initially, with it playing in reverse, that's the concept of the visual. That's what I'm taking. It seems that like, hey, man, if he didn't get out of that car, he probably would have never been a victim of whatever, from how it started by the car pulling off. That's just my opinion.
Right. Nah, I like how you looked at that. I ain't never even think of, and I watched that a million times. And I think that's important to know because I don't watch that video like 100 times and I never thought about it that way. So you see the matter of perception. Next clip.
I love this.
You know I've been calling you, right? You know I've been calling you, right? But you wasn't here. You hear me now? The life you've been living out there, all glorious partying, just running over all of the good people that's been there for you since day one. Oh, you're not gonna die. But it's gonna be many obstacles in your way. Now put yourself in my world. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Reinvent yourself. Put yourself in another world. Your legs may not work the same, but your mind can be renewed and changed. This me talking to you, dog. He ain't finished with us. It's a time to change. It's all on you, man.
What you think, Bo?
Hey man, I mean, I've actually lived that. You feel what I'm saying? Actually lived that. The loss of my legs, the pain of going through that obstacle. That was one of the reasons I posted that, because that like really resonated with me, right? To wake up and to have the thought as a man, and as men we know, and as humans we know, period, that the first thing we do when we wake up, when we do get up, go to the bathroom, right? So when I
Mm-hmm.
initially woke up and went to go push my body up, nothing moved. There was no feeling, right? That had to be one of the, if not the one of the most weirdest feelings in my entire life. And I think that visual right there that they put together capture that as best as you can capture it without it happening to you.
Mm.
You know, just not even the words were powerful, but more so of the dramatic acting of laying there and just knowing that I'm here, because it seems like when you get shot, that it seems like stuff slow down.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
Mm.
it slowed down, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, and I don't know if this happened with others who've been shot before me. It just seemed like stuff slowed down, right? It seemed like everything was in slow motion for a minute, right? Like even riding to the hospital, that felt like it was a all day event, but the hospital wasn't that far. But that's just how it felt. You feel what I'm saying? So I completely understand that. And that really resonates with me just by me being shot, and having to entail and encounter that. I'm just blessed to have the ability to walk again.
And it's crazy, Boobie. I definitely feel what you're saying about, that ambulance ride. They medevac me, and it felt like it took a century. You know what I mean? Like I passed out, woke back up, passed out again, woke up, and I still wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. Like that's a good question. I wonder, why does it feel like it's taking, like it's in slow motion, or it's taking so long? So that's definitely a good question, man. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to ask somebody.
yeah. I never knew why, but that's how it felt to me. You feel what I'm saying? And like even after that, I went to surgery and started, got back into a normal function of getting in my wheelchair and stuff like that. Time never slowed down that slow again.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that
That
time. You
particular
feel what I'm
moment.
saying? It was
Yeah.
just when I got hit. It was just that particular moment, and I can even say, even in situations after that, because listen, I didn't stand down after that. I was back in the street running around, and I've been on both sides of the gun, and I've been on the side of the gun where I was, on the receiving, and I didn't get shot. But I've been in shootouts. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
let's just be frank, right? And even in those shootouts, it didn't slow down.
Mm.
But
It
that
seemed
ride on the way to
fast.
that
Like
hospital.
movies romanticize yeah, movies romanticize the shootout. In the movie, it's a 5 minute shootout. They shot 20 times, but it's 5 minutes. Say they edited
Mm-hmm.
it, chopped and screwed it. But a shootout is pow, 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 it's over with.
Yeah.
It happened so
Mm.
fast, and people
Yeah.
don't even realize how fast it happened, right? Everybody always talking about, man, he come through here, they come through here, I'm gonna do this. Man, don't even be enough
Man,
time for that.
what?
Man, you not fast,
Hey,
man.
look, you
Listen,
gotta have your
you got a 30 shotgun, a 20 shotgun, man, them bullets go so fast.
Mm.
They go so fast, man, that you don't even realize it don't take that long to, man, especially when you ain't conscious and you ain't keeping track of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sitting there counting bullets. You feel what I'm saying? You shooting, you look down, your gun empty.
Mm-hmm.
So like just being honest, like that was some of the slowest time in my life. But like I said, some of these guys, they romanticize shootouts and they think it's gonna be like the movies and don't realize they're like, man, split second is over with. Because usually the
Mm.
bullet hits you before you hear the sound. That's how fast it's moving,
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it breaks the
Right.
sound barrier, right? So
Mm-hmm.
by the time you hit
Right.
a pow, it's already moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like You know, everybody this superhero, man. I'm trying to tell you, they come through here. Man, I ain't playing with them. I'm gonna crush, man. Listen, by the time you hear them shooting, you might be through.
Mm.
You know,
That's facts.
because you gotta respond to the threat,
Exactly.
especially if you don't see it, right? So, by only way that you know that the threat is present because of the sound. By the time you heard the sound, the bullets are already coming.
And then if you think about it, you know, when you first hear that sound, your first instinct is to get behind something or duck.
For some, but for the person that's not that conscious, right? It freezes up, right? They don't even do that. Some people go into a freeze. You ever seen people get into a shootout
Yeah,
or shooting stop, and a person like lock up, and you be like, man, what you doing? Like, come on,
yeah,
or get
yeah,
down. That's why people say get down, because that person didn't get
yeah.
down, because sometimes it doesn't even register to the brain fast enough
Mm.
of what's actually taking place. So by the time it
Right.
registers to the brain, you already done.
Mm-hmm.
You already hit. And
Next
that's
one.
the part
So
that that society do. Okay,
U.S. economist who's
that's
black,
economic problem.
his name is Sandy Darity, proposes that $12 trillion in slavery reparations to eliminate the black-white wealth gap, and that every black household should get $800,000.
Hey, I agree with it. Give me my 800.
No, right now.
But if they do that, let's be clear. If they do that, we're gonna have a lot of people claiming that they black. Listen,
Agreed.
they wasn't here for none of the other rap, but they gonna listen. We seeing it right now. People scamming right now and doing all types of carrying on. They got small
but
business
but you
investigation
want to know
teams
something?
going out.
If that 800 does come into fruition, does the gun violence go up?
You think that would end gun violence?
Uh,
Nah, I mean personally, I don't think it's going to end
I
it. I
think
think it's
I
going to
think I think
increase.
I think it would. I think it would. That's what I'm about to say. I think it would dump money into the hands of some who are going to misuse it. You know, I think that it'll balance itself out. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers will be. You know, because we're hypothetically speaking.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
if that was to happen, we already know some of the funds will be misappropriated and used. I mean, that's how the world goes, right? Nothing goes everywhere it's supposed to go. And I mean, that's like saying public assistance that you just use it for food stamps and you feed your family, but we know people steal
Mm-hmm.
food stamps. So
Mm-hmm.
like so it's gonna be misappropriated somewhere, and who knows where to go. I really
And
can't really say if the
and
gun
what's the
balance will go up or
requirements?
down.
And what's the requirements of you getting the money?
Requirements in order to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because some of us can't trace what we are for real because we don't have a family heritage in order to go back and say what we are. We think we black, but because you look black doesn't mean that you know that you meet the qualifications for who they trying to get the money to.
So at the end of the day, we all agree that the 800,000, we gonna take that.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, get me. Slide
All
me
right, so y'all
mines.
vote.
Get me.
HR 40 is the next bill for reparations to look into that 800 grand. Everybody that's watching this, call HR 40. Sheila Jackson Lee.
You know what, man? As a gangbanger, right? When you go on a mission, you might, when you looking for your so-called enemy, you driving through a different hood down the street. You know, it's an invisible line. You cross this street, now you in another hood, and you hunting. And when you looking, you gonna pass up the dude that's dressed square, right? You gonna pass up a dude from a different race. When you see somebody that's dressed like you dress and got the walk like you got and got the body language like you gonna say, there you go, get him. And that's deep.
Whew,
You know what I'm saying? When you really unpack that,
that's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? You looking for yourself just on the other side of town. And you're gonna hop out and attack him and try to down him in a real way.
I think that exists in certain environments. I think it's evolved to that kind of like now with the younger generation here in DC. In California, of course, we know it's a whole different demographic. We're talking about gangs that may be in the hundreds to the thousands, right? And you understand you shouldn't even be in that neighborhood if you ain't a part of that gang, right? Or you're not even gonna be allowed in that neighborhood, you know. But on this side of the equation, when I was growing up, I'm not just looking for a guy that look like me or just dressed like me. I know who I'm looking for, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because we're dealing with a smaller demographic of people here, right? We
Mm-hmm.
dealing with, say, crews, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a different makeup, but I could see that being the mentality of those guys out there because you're dealing with such a broad spectrum of people that, man, who knows how many generations of gangbangers living in that neighborhood. But we also know that, just for instance, if you live in, let's say, the jungle out California, I'm not gonna be living in the jungle, or I ain't gonna be hanging in the jungle if I ain't messing with, if I ain't with them dudes. They ain't even gonna allow me to be up there. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody slide through there, that's kind of like the mentality. So I completely understand it, but on a more grander scale, just to be hunting is one thing. Because a hunt is a hunt. I don't care if you know who you're looking for, or if you don't know who you're looking for. That's something that we got to deal with as people. That we can even get to the point that that we're looking for somebody to actually possibly kill them.
Right, but I think so. Do you, in the context that you were saying earlier, like no gentrifiers getting hit? So do you think, even though it's on the West Coast, what he's talking about, if, in terms of we're not looking for the gentrifier, we're looking for somebody that's a black man that's just like us?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they look for a black man who look just like us, but there's no way of possibly identifying a gentrifier from, just, let's say, a native if you're black, because we got a
Right,
lot of gentrifiers here in Washington D.C. that's African American.
right.
That's what people fail to realize. A lot of people in the community identify gentrifiers as, per se, the white on white, quote, person, quote, the white on white person, right? And it's not always true. I'm an avid runner, and I would be running with a running group around the city, and pretty much none of them are from Washington D.C., but they look just like us. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, hey, if they just so happen to probably moved in the wrong neighborhood with the mentality that he has, they can be a victim. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I say that I know that a lot of things that are going on here, we are perpetuating it against each other, because there's no coincidence that we're the only ones that's getting hit. You feel what I'm saying? So how can we put an end to that? The way we do that is by, man, we got to communicate and reach out. Stop being strangers to each other, because everybody knows somebody, and you find out either at the funeral or at the court.
So do you think that, based on what you said, that there's a class division with black people?
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. There's most definitely a class division. There's a class division with all people, not just black people, every race and ethnic group and religious texture, and however you else you want to divide it, has a class, right? You have, the people that got it, you got the people that's trying to get it, and you got the people who don't
Mm-hmm.
have it. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
like most definitely, everything is broken down into class. There's no one class and nothing that we do. Even when you go to school, there's not just one class. You got
Mm-hmm.
ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th
Mm-hmm.
grade. They separate you by class based upon the knowledge that you have. So, class is broke down. It's class is always going to be around. Class has been around since the beginning of time, when you talk about pharaohs and servants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how, the pharaohs took everything into the temple with them when they was buried and they died. And there was nothing that they can do with it, but people looted and took it. So, the lower class went in there, a lot of times took it. And that's how they probably, came up. So most definitely there's a class. There's always going to be that.
Next slide.
Come on. Man, suck his head, go to the body. Man, suck his head, go to the body, Maurice. Good. See if you been doing this sit up. Good. Move around, Maurice. Then go around. Go, check his body. Check his body. See if you been doing this sit up. Come on. See if you been doing this sit up. Move around. When you see him leaning there, come on, fast. Good, Mike. Come on. Step up, Morel. Maurice. Good. Make him work. Make him work. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. See if he like the body, Maurice. See if he like the body, Maurice. Come on. See if he like the body shot, Maurice. Yeah. Don't you move it, Maurice. You don't know where you at. He's digging. He's digging. You got 8 seconds. Come on, Maurice. See if he might check in, Maurice. See if he can check in. Come on. Oh, shit. Time.
What your thoughts about you posted that about going with the
Uh,
hands?
I love it. I love it for multiple reasons. I love it. It's my nephew out there boxing. Being able to see all the young kids out there for real becoming disciplined, because that's what boxing is. It's a form of discipline, right? The understanding that there's an alternative solution to you know resolving things other than picking up a firearm. And it's exercise, it's recreation, and if you got the passion, hey, you can go far with it. You feel what I'm saying? If you're committed
Mhm.
to it, because every professional boxer started off probably at that same place. So seeing that really, really, I really love it, and I love the response that I got. I love that a lot of parents want to know, how can I get my kid involved, or I want to get my child signed up, or I want to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So I just really think that it's a most definitely a positive thing. I don't see nothing negative about it. I completely
Mhm.
love it. I think that it need to be more encouraged. You feel what I'm saying? Especially if you got a child, especially a little boy. We know good girls, women are boxing now too. But from the male perspective, I think having our kids active in some form of something. Whether, even if it's not boxing, if they like computers, let's try to teach them how to build something, build video games or become engineers and do apps or something, right? But from the boxing perspective, I really love what they doing with it, and I love that he's passionate about it. He's very passionate about it.
So how do we teach, kids from a young age, even in that situation, like how to accept the loss? Like in life, you're not always going to win. And I think sometimes, people turn to a gun because they don't really know how to accept that loss, right? And they turn to a gun because they're out of frustration or they feel a sense of embarrassment. How do we get ingrained that in terms of people that, kids are boxing, not in every fight you win, right? Just going to be a winner and a loser. But you could literally say, even though you stepped in the ring, if anybody's ever boxed, stepping in the ring, everybody won, because it takes some courage to just get in the ring, period. So how do we get that ingrained, like for kids to understand that taking a loss is all right?
Well, it's something that got to be taught. It's a consistent conversation that got to be had. It's not a one-time conversation. A lot of
Mhm.
people, you know what I'm saying, say it one time and think that, oh, I told him about this. Man, kid forgot. Like, how many times somebody told us something, that didn't resonate because it wasn't continuously fed to us. But things that was continuously fed to us, we remember. So, like, I even do with my own child. You feel what I'm saying? We have conversations about different things because I want him to take those things in and internalize them. That's why I continue. It's not, it's not an everyday repetitious thing where I'm hounding him about it, but I have conversations about it, and then sometimes I might double back to him and ask him about it. So what about this? And I let him tell it back to me. Because when he tell it back to me, it means that he remembers it, right? But when he
Mhm.
says it, it's also reiterating it into his brain, right? Because it's like a song. We hate that song, but they play that song enough on the radio. What we do, we start
Right,
singing it, right?
right.
We riding around there, we singing this song, but when we jump first came on, we ain't like it. So you consistently do, and they don't play that song back to back every song, every hour. They might play it once. So you hear that song. Let's say we woke, we hear that song, and we around the radio, we hear 7 times a day. They play it once every hour. So
And I
eventually,
think,
it starts to internalize. So
a lot of
go
parents,
ahead.
I think a lot of parents don't install, that a loss is a lesson, right? Some of these parents never talk about you might fail something the first time, or you might lose at something, the first time, or the first or second or third time, right? So as you were saying, Boobie, if we don't consistently articulate that, to our children, then they're going to be lost, right? I've known a couple of people who they 30, 33 years old, and when they have something dramatic happen to them, or if they lose,
They don't know how to deal with it.
exactly, right?
They don't know how to deal
And I
with it.
look at them like, you 33 years old, you 32 years old. How can you still have these type of emotions like you never took a loss before? You know what I mean? But I think sometimes parents can keep a child so contained for their whole life, then it makes them I don't want to say less of a person, but it makes like the wisdom is not there when it comes to losing and lessons. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of
And I
that,
agree.
a lot of it got to do with the parents, Boobie, man. I preach it a lot, man. You know, it's all about who you was brought up by. Because I remember being 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, getting my ass kicked. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to fight a guy 2, 3 years older than me. You understand what I'm saying? But my uncle always told me, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some.
Do
But
so.
get your ass up and continue to fight.
Yeah, and you know, it goes beyond even the fighting, just loss, period.
Period. Exactly.
You know, like period. But then I teach my son about loss, period. So he doesn't be emotionally attached to losses. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like some people get them, and that's what you was talking about, that emotional attachment to a loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
I make sure that he understands, especially with things that can be replaced, because some people
Mm.
Right.
lose things and go berserk, and it can be replaced. You know,
Right.
so like you really gotta teach them about taking L's. Like, listen, taking an L is a part of life. Like, there's no one thing on no side. Like, especially with material things, because you know, you as you growing up, you get material things, you want to have them, especially if it's something you really wanted. Then you break it or you lose it. You know, it'll stop working and you ain't got it no more. Some people lose their mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and nah, we ain't gonna do that over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I really preach to my own child. I really preach that to my own child all the time, and I tell my youth that too. I always tell them that, and I really point that out to them when they lose their freedom and they inside the facility. Look, you ain't here now. You lost your freedom. This is part of the game. If you don't want to come back here or you don't like the conditions, don't lose your freedom again.
Mm.
You know, and I tell them that just about every time I go and visit them. So, you know, whether they use it or not, if they go back out there and they walk back into a situation where they're inside of a holding cell or something like that, guess what? I promise you that my conversations will resonate, because
Mm-hmm.
it happens. Whatever a person tell you or not, the stuff that people tell you, play all that in your head when you in the situation that they was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Next slide.
I seen this.
So
I read this, I think, on your page.
yeah. So DEA
Yeah, I read that.
basically charged a safe streets worker who was loaning people guns and selling drugs. What you think about that in terms of you
Man,
got guys who are like playing both sides of the fence, like they got one foot in the street and then they got one foot in the violence intervention work.
man, I say, man, that if you're gonna do it like you put on your post, do it wholeheartedly. You know, don't mess up the opportunity. And you know, if somebody's offering you the opportunity and you're not ready, tell them I ain't ready right now. I'm gonna get back with you. That's my honest. That's my honest opinion. I'm not ready right now. I'm gonna get back with you, because
Right.
evidently, I mean, if you still running the streets, you should be getting enough money when you don't need a job. And if you ain't getting enough money when you don't need a job, then you should just go to work and leave the streets alone. It's, you know, that's
Mhm.
what they mean by one is one or the other. You
Right.
know, and to each his own. To each his own. But and if you're not ready and you take the job, start trying to transition out of that situation. Start trying to train. Don't keep feeding it. You feel what I'm saying? Don't keep feeding it. Try to transition out of that situation, because everything must come to an end, even life itself. And that's what I always tell
Mhm.
people. Everything must come to an end. So like, what's your end game? And that's what I be trying to point out to youngest when I'm talking about beefing. What's the end of y'all beef? What's gonna be the end of the beef?
Mm,
How does the beef end?
mm,
Do it
mm.
go down to your son, or do everybody go to jail and get killed? How does it end? And that's really a good point when you doing this work, is having them to think about the ending, because a lot of people don't think about the ending, they only think about the story.
Hmm. Excellent point. Next slide.
But you most definitely got to take it in. That's a
It's
business.
niggas
That's a business
in
model
our
right there.
neighborhood every day that's fighting for change, but we don't give these niggas the light that they deserve, or the shine that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? But these niggas at all, it ain't like, it was some niggas that came in here, they about to give out computers for war back. Nobody speak on that shit. That shit ain't on the news. None of that shit. But we gotta, as a people, gotta get behind that nigga. That nigga just raised $7,000 from just saying some shit on Instagram like he about to look out for Wolf 5. Yeah. And everybody saw cash out this nigga $100. Yeah. He raised 7 bands and came in here and bought some computers to give out to the kids. But what we saying is, when niggas do that shit, it don't go viral. But when a nigga go shoot his man in the parking lot, that shit go viral. Yeah, but we gotta stop supporting that wild shit and get behind that type of.
Yeah, I posted that on my page, and when he was speaking of, and you see, we urban, but I knew some people was gonna look at it and get offended by the word nigga. So I
I ain't
made sure
even
that
paying
I
attention to
said
that.
just catch the message. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was a concept that my partner came up with about the computers. He been came up with it when we did the bike drive. We did a bike drive about 2 years ago. We gave out 100 bikes to 100 kids in Ward 8, right? In 3 elementary schools. We allowed the schools to pick the kids out, and we gave them bikes, all brand new bikes. So my partner came up with the concept of let's do a computer drive. We talked about it a while ago, and he always pulls the trigger a lot of times. My partner is Mike. You feel what I'm saying? That's my brother, and he's very supportive of whatever I do, and he pulled the trigger when I woke up and he's already posted, man, we raising money for computers. So, we all, our team, we got into it, everybody posted it and people reposted it. We raised about $7,000 in probably about 2 days, maybe two, give or take about 2 days, right? But a lot of things go viral that's ignorant. And I made a post on my page a while ago and I said, why did we get more likes about a shooting than about a graduation? We get more views. But society is so desensitized that the graduation is enough excitement. People are here for the thrills.
The
You feel what I'm
adrenaline
saying?
rush.
That's why action pack movie does numbers because people want to see
Right.
action. You understand what I'm saying? Bad Boys, the latest one, flew out the market, right? Because people love action movies and they get action reality through social media networks.
And the crazy
we
and the crazy thing about that movie is that they want to see action, but where they live, it ain't no action. You know what I mean? I think that goes back to that classism, right? You know what I mean? Shit, we grew up in action.
Well,
We don't seeing that.
it goes back, but see, it goes back to this. It goes to this too. Even if you look at hip hop, when they were selling CDs, the number one consumer of hip hop was suburban kids,
Right.
because they wanted to hear what was going on. Now they don't want to hear, now they want to see it. They got a window into it now, right? You can see everybody saying more murder these days than we've probably seen our whole life, because now you can just scroll or Google man getting his head blew off. It comes right up. Back in the days, you didn't see her; she was dead. You just heard about it.
Yeah.
So we've been desensitized as humans. You feel what I'm saying? As human beings, we've been desensitized to sensitive subjects, to the fact that it doesn't really have a bearing on a lot of us until it lands on your doorstep. Right? That's when you want to desensitize no more. That's when you want murder mayhem. That's when you want murder mayhem. That's when you want murder mayhem to take the video down because that's my cousin.
Exactly.
Or because that's my baby father, or because that's my uncle, right? Or because that's my father.
Right.
But you wanted to see everybody else people's with their brains blew out. But when it comes to your people, because
it was your people.
if I'm making this up, just pay attention for those that's viewing this. If you follow Murder Mayhem or any of those type pages, view the comments. And then go back to some old comments. Some same people yelling, take this down, was on them old comments like, man, Mo got his shit blew loose. Or damn, they spent the. Yeah, he got caught slipping.
And you want to know what's crazy?
It on their doorstep.
Someone asked me the other day, we were talking about having a adrenaline rush, right? And I said, I'm a black man in America. That's my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do anything.
Pretty much.
Say it again.
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I don't have to do nothing extra, jump off a cliff or jump out of a plane or whatever the case might. I'm a black man in America. Every time I step outside the front door,
it's like a video game to make it home.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Jeff for telling me that. Almost like in a video game.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. The reason why I appreciate that clip so much is, the bridging the digital divide, particularly during COVID, when you got a lot of black kids that are staying home from school and they might not even have computers at home, so they can't even connect with the school because they don't have Chromebooks. And I think more people need to understand the impact that, you know, COVID is having when kids are not going to school and they live in households where they might not have Wi-Fi or they might not even have the hardware to connect to Zoom to learn. And so that's things we need to pay attention to. So I appreciate and respect that. Next slide.
God dang.
I think we got 2 more left. And we're going to do this one, then we're going to skip to the last one. What do you think about this one?
Okay. Hey, man, listen, came a long way. went from a wreck-yard with killers to the Oval Office. That's not the East Wing. That's the West Wing. So that's where the Oval Office at. That's literally where the Oval Office at. The Situation Room, the president sleeping quarters, and all that other stuff is right. Is that, you feel what I'm saying? So it's literally all right there. I went from, you know, that's a hell of a jump. You know, you see it. You know, I went from walking the wreck yard with a gray sweatsuit to being there in the building with the highest, you know, with the highest person in the land, as they say. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, it was you know, it was experience, man. It was an experience. It was a hell of experience, and I also was able to take my son with me. So it was an experience that many won't have, because I had to kind of jump through some hoops to get that tour. You can get an East Wing tour with no problem. That's where they just run you through the rubber mill of the White House, and you come on out on the Pennsylvania Avenue side, right? But to go through there, you know, some strings had to be pulled with some people and some high places in order to get me in there. So, you know, it was an honor and a privilege to have that, you know, to have that opportunity. And I'm completely blessed. And I thank my plug. You know, I got a plug, so I thank the plug, you know. And you know, I think I really put it up for motivational purposes. You know, it ain't no stunt. It's just saying, listen, man, you can go from here, you can go here.
That's
Nothing
right.
can stop you from where
That's right.
you can wind up at.
Right. That's why we put it in there. Let's skip to the last one so we can be up out of here. There you go.
Hey, yo, what's up? You got the RZA live in effect, chilling right here, yo. You remember that ice cream jingle? Of course, we all know it. I'm not gonna play it right now, though, because we come to find out that it has racist roots. But check this out. H.O.W.L, they called me up and it was like, we gotta do something about this, Rez. We could change the dynamics. We could make a new ice cream jingle for a new era. We wanted to make a melody that includes all communities, that's good for every driver, every kid. And I'm proud to say, for the first time in a long time, a new ice cream truck jingle will be made available to trucks all across the country in perpetuity. That means forever, you know what I mean? Like Wu-Tang's forever. And I can assure you that this one is made with love. Peace. The new ice cream is represented.
So you know the story behind that?
First time I seen that. Yeah,
So,
I'm aware of the story behind the original song.
Yeah. So for people that might not know,
I like that, you know, that they taking them steps.
The ice cream truck song is racist. It's actually mimicking a song that says when a nigga eats a watermelon. Ha 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 ha. A lot of people didn't know that we chasing the ice cream truck and it's actually playing a racist ass song. So RZA, shout out to you, bro. So that's basically it. Man, we took like 90 minutes of your life. Boobie.
Man, it was well worth it. It's documented.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed it, brother. And I'm glad you came and sat down with us.
I most definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And man, listen, you ain't take 90 minutes of my life. We shared 90 minutes of each other. You know, none of us will never get this time back, right? But what it is documented. It's documented and it'll last forever. That's one thing I love about technology nowadays, right? We've done something that'll last forever. 100 years from now, who knows who might click on it, get some words of wisdom out of this, or be motivated, or, you know, whatever it may be. You know, that's the difference between now and go if you didn't put it in text or in text form, then it didn't survive. But with the digital age, this thing will live forever. Get his digital footprint.
Nah, we appreciate you coming on, man, and taking the time. We wanted to get you on, and we wanted everybody to hear with so many comments. I don't even know if you could possibly see them, but it was a ton of comments of people saying that
I can't even see.
They agreed with everything that you were saying 100%. They love the show. They love the conversation, and I just, it's just somebody just gave us 2 fists right there from Black Voters Matter. So a lot of people were digging this show, man.
Yeah. I know, Bird.
So
He know me. I know him from when I was running the streets, man.
So look, how do people get into? I mean, we were showing your Instagram, so everybody know how to get at you on IG with Boobie 617. But how else were they getting? So this is all your info.
Yeah, that's my info for my nonprofit page. You gave my handle for Instagram for my personal page, Boobie 617. On Instagram it's c.b.king. Man, I'm open. If you reach out to me on any platforms, if they contact y'all know how to contact me. If they can't remember, if they say, man, what about the guy that you was talking to, man? Y'all know I just believe man, being a network, plugging people in. It ain't about what you gain. It's about, who you make sure is all right. I don't have no problem with hooking nobody up, nobody if I can help, or assisting in any form of fashion if I can help. I mean, I believe in my slogan is to try to leave the earth better than it was when I got here. That's my slogan in life. If I leave it worse than what it was, then I ain't do my part. We all here to be used, not abused.
We appreciate you being a vessel, man, and all your contributions to humanity and all the things that you have done so far, man. And we just wish you and pray for you and wish you all the best, bro. We gonna keep having these conversations offline and continue to share our level of brotherhood, and hopefully we can just come to an understanding of peace in the streets, and that one less body is taken off the streets by the work that you do and that others do, man. And we just want to say we value you, we appreciate you, and we created this show to acknowledge all the people that are on the ground that do the work that you do, and you're inspiring everybody. So I just want to thank you for that. Check.
Sure, for sure. Man, keep doing what you do, man. Big fan, bro. You know what I mean? I'm always checking you out on the gram, man.
Always.
So I'm honored to have you on the show,
definitely
bro.
will, man.
We honored and
appreciate
humbled
y'all
to have you
having
on
me,
the
man.
show,
And
bro.
I am like I ended with this, man. Listen, man, if you out here and you can squash a beef, or you can even plant the seed to squash a beef, or you could talk to somebody about some of the actions, man. You can just never know how many lives you might save. We can't count how many lives saved. Could you imagine if the guy that was doing that shooting around Minnesota Avenue, or the guys, if somebody had stepped in, that would have been 20 people that went, or 21, 22 people that wouldn't have encountered this. There's no way of putting a number on the impact of what you might do. Because you don't see it doesn't mean that you're not having an impact, So, man, when you see something, or you see one of them, or you see somebody, young, old, in between, or whatever, if you got enough rapport with that person, step in, say something. Even if you can't stop it, at least try it. You feel what I'm saying? Try and beat the blink.
We gonna end on that. Charles Boobie King, co-founder of H.O.W.L. Show that man some love. We appreciate you, brother. And we're gonna holler at you offline. One love to everybody that watched. I thank everybody that stayed with us, man. And again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for my brother. God bless my brother Che. Everybody's family out there. Stay safe from COVID and put those guns down. One love.
O.T.L. Mafia music. I don't really do the computers. I'm in the street with the movers. I'm on the block with the shooters. I'm on the block with the shooters. We got